I divorced my husband because he became a QAnon MAGA freakazoid. And I divorce your husband, ladies. Leave your husbands if they're MAGA. I know you're going to put that online, and I love it. So thank you.
My boyfriend loves Trump, and I do not. That is currently the... That didn't age well, now did it? So we actually broke up a month after I posted that video because we were watching the JD Vance debate, and he said that all Black people needed to get over slavery since his grandparents came over on a horse-drawn wagon, and although mine were picking cotton in a field, great-grandparents, and although mine were picking cotton in a field, that we had all of the exact same advantages in life. And so that's when I realized he really wasn't on my team, and I felt extremely unsafe that he was not vouching for me. So the G-Wagon was great. The Limitless Amex was great, but was it worth it? I'm gonna go with no, because my safety is a little bit more important. Also, for any women that decide to date him in the future, please make sure to check out his calculator little app. You will find all of the photos of the women that he actually likes. This lovely MAGA supporter, you know, super MAGA, got a little private life. So make sure to stay safe out there, guys. Please be safe.
So if you're following me on my page, you know that I have been actively talking to my husband about ending our 17-year marriage. But the events of the past week have made me think that maybe that's not a good idea, that this is the wrong time to go out there on my own with my kids, make myself a single mother. There's so much chaos and conflict and unknown out there that I shouldn't make any big moves. Being in my marriage is difficult and hard, and I'm very unhappy, but at least I know it. It's the devil that I know. But then a couple of days after the election, I think I was watching a video, where Trump was talking about dismantling the Department of Education. And I have 2 kids who have IEP, so I was emotional and upset about it. My husband had come home and he had asked me, what's wrong? And I told him nothing. I said, I'm fine, I'm just not feeling well. And then he walked off. And the reason why I didn't tell him about what I was really feeling is because I know that my husband is not a person that I would talk to about my emotions and feelings, because it's not safe. It would have turned into an argument about politics, or about how a woman shouldn't be president, or about conservative and libertarian and Joe Rogan and all this other shit. And my feelings would be cast aside, not meaningful or important. And that made me realize that my instinct was correct. I have to get out of here. This isn't a safe place for me, and it hasn't been a safe place for me for years. And even though I've done a pretty miraculous job keeping the marriage together, keeping the family together, in spite of my husband's effort to tear it down with his words, his actions, his indifference, this isn't the right place for me. I can't be the mother that I need to be. I can't be the protector that I need to be for my kids and myself in this environment. I know I can do it. I know I can protect myself. I know I can take care of myself. I've done it all along through this entire marriage. And I've done it while being undermined, while having somebody that's been against me and somebody who's tried to tear me down. That means if I'm free of that in the world, I can thrive. This is so different for me. I don't do this. I don't take risks and I don't take chances. This is going to be the first time in my life, really, that or the first time in many, many years that I'm going to take the biggest risk that I've ever taken. But I'm betting on somebody. I'm betting on someone who's come through for me every time, and that's been me.
As someone who was raised MAGA, the sad reality is that a lot of white women only vote the way they do because of their husbands. And white women are a demographic of people that consistently, historically, have voted against their own interests. If you are a white MAGA woman, I want to tell you right now, there's a high chance that your husband is probably cheating on you. And if he's not doing it in the physical world, he's doing it in the online space. Most people who consume OnlyFans and other content are married. And here are some messages that I have gotten in my DMs on Instagram. This guy directly says that he hates his wife and he is trying to get me to send him explicit content or whatever. I don't do that, but point being, I like to talk to these men to see what is going on in their lives and where they live. And if I can, I will try to get a hold of their wives. Can't even tell you how common of a pattern this is and how many messages I get of married MAGA men trying to get me to engage in this work with them. So if you are a woman and you voted MAGA, be careful where you place your loyalty. It's always better to think for yourself than relying on him, because look what he's doing behind your back.
So I had a little lunch date today, okay? We done spent an hour at the lunch date. We've had some very good, valid conversation. Everything is going great. Child, it just slide over to the politics. I don't talk about politics with nobody, but it slide on over to the politics. Mind you, this is somebody that I've known for years and years and years. You know, we kind of getting on like a little bit. It slides on over to politics. You already know what he told me. You already know what he told me. He did not, in fact, vote for Kamala Harris, even though he had a very reasonable list of why he didn't. Because most people that I saw on the internet who gave their reasons, it was some BS. Because she laughs funny. I just don't have a good feeling about her. What the fuck? What? Go on somewhere. Okay? But he didn't give me this list. He gave me some actual policy. Okay? That I could not confirm or deny. But what I just wanted to stress to him was, because he was like, she slept her way to the top, and did you see about her track record? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Everybody else in the world gets to vote for their people unapologetically. Only Black Americans have to play devil's advocate. I don't care what she did. I don't care. Because other cultures feel the exact same way about their candidates, even though they're monsters. They don't give a damn. They're not voting for nobody else. So why should I? And to me, as a Black woman who has a Black daddy who made sure he votes for Black people, I'm not laying in my bed next to somebody who didn't. I don't care. You may have not liked her, but the other candidate didn't have nothing for you. They didn't have nothing for you. They had something for the men of their culture. They had something for the women of their culture. They definitely had something for the radical Christians. They didn't have nothing for your Black ass. Nothing. Nothing for you. Nothing for you. Unless you just happen to be a billionaire, Oprah, Tyler, okay? But for you and your Black ass, they didn't have nothing for you. Okay, so you have the choice between two people who don't have nothing for you, and you choose this one and not this one. Yeah, you're not coming back to me to my house. I digress. This is somebody I dated before. We've been knowing each other a long time, and he thought I wasn't gonna give him no hug. He thought I wouldn't go, because I was like, oh, that's so sad. Like, I was going to. Now I'm going home. I'm going to bed, okay? I'm going to take a nap. Okay, I got stuff I got to do. All right. He thought I wasn't going to give him a hug. We left. No, baby, I still, you cool. I holler at you, I support you, but I already cut folk off the roster for that back when we voted. You just slid by an extra month. I thought I was wrong. I was definitely wrong, and I gotta stand on business. Yeah, I definitely, because what I feel like, if you didn't vote for her, you have internalized misogyny. Yeah, you're just regular misogynist, because there was nothing for you personally, not for everybody else, not for the rest of the world, not for the economy, for you. There was nothing for you personally over there. You just needed a reason not to vote for that Black lady, and I happen to be a Black lady, so I see you when I see you.
A lot of MAGA husbands do not love their wives. Instead, they see their wives as live-in maids and somebody who could pop out kids for them so that they can continue on their white genes. They don't actually necessarily care about the women that are building their homes that they live with. And the reason I know that is because I have gotten so many DMs from MAGA men that I can't even list them all here. And they have all said that they find feminist women so attractive and that they would love to have a wife that doesn't depend on them, even though they put themselves into that position on purpose by wanting to be a provider type. So here are some of the messages just to prove to you this point, and also to show that a man doesn't have to like you to marry you. You just have to make his life better and more convenient. And the sooner more Republican white women realize this, the better our society will be. Because white women have historically and consistently voted against our own interests. And even if care for human rights isn't enough to move you, the fact that your husband probably doesn't love you and is messaging random leftist girls on the internet asking to see her coochie, hopefully that will be enough. Okay, bye.
Y'all, I was in white people business and I finally got on Threads, and there was a thread of a woman talking about her life after divorcing her MAGA husband and the comments. So from what I'm collecting, the girls on that side is pretty much saying like when they married their husband, they was like early 2000s Mitt Romney, John McCain type of conservative and Republican type timing. You know what I mean? You remember how Republicans used to be before they like entered this like DEFCON 5 death cult shit. And so they husbands was just regular conservative, regular racist, you know, regular degular. And one day they just started spiraling. I really think it's some type of psychosis going on based on how they was describing what happened. Now, some women, they trying to work it out with they partners. And it was even men in the comment section who was talking about how they fell into the DEFCON 5 death cult. And from what I'm picking up from the men, a lot of them say like it starts off by stoking fear around the things that conservatives care about the most usually. So think early 2000s conservative, family, God, wife, kids, church type timing. And my pickup truck, my Ford, you know, F-250. You know, they do the 250 out there. You know what I'm saying? And stoking fears around the things that they value the most is what kind of got the hook in. Like, you got to protect your family. Your kids are under attack. You know, your communities are under attack. The church is under attack. Like, making it seem like everything that they hold dear to them, they are in a state of losing right now, this very instance. It was the sense of urgency that really got them. Yo, I like being in other people's business. It's very interesting. I'm not going to lie. So I was in white people business on Threads. I'm actually going to post a thread here about divorce and MAGA husbands because it is a lot of tea on that thread. But some things that I'm sure we could have guessed. The abuse. They abusing everybody from themselves to the dog. It's bad over there. And a lot of the wives were saying like, being 2A, that shit was cute and cool until everybody was locked under psychosis. And that was very scary because they have heavy artillery. Even after divorcing their husbands, they still live in fear. Some of these husbands literally is like long-range sharpshooters and have the means, the access, and probably could get away with it after they do the shit. So a lot of them are living in fear, if I'm being real with you, by a lot of them comments. So, and self-deleting. Self-deleting is going crazy over there. They say like once the psychosis get to a point, they either become a bum or they take themselves out of here. Like most of them end up getting divorced. They lose their jobs. They cycle through relationships. They date super young girls that's, you know, naive and don't know no better. Like literally becoming a part of this cult is ruining their lives. Like they go from like well-to-do dudes working, taking care of their families, you know, like I said, regular racists, nothing too crazy, to literally losing everything, living home with their parents, ending up in jail, mad charges. Like they literally lose their lives behind this cult shit. Like, and a lot of the moms was talking about how they was fearing it passing down to their kids, like this cult like ideology. And this one mom was like, the other day my ex-husband was sending Kid Rock songs to my son. And I'm like, damn, yo, like even after they divorced them, they still can't get free for real. Like,
Oh, I agree with you on this one, girl.
let me say this. MAGA women, nobody's coming for your husband. Nobody's coming for your husband. In fact, divorce attorneys right now, their phones are ringing off the hook. Did you know that? For women to divorce MAGA husbands. Guess who's not high on the list for getting a divorce? Liberal men and their women. And I know a lot of liberal men that carry and throw acts for sport. But you guys like to pretend like they're these like weak little beta men, when in reality, you're the weak men. You think you're this big alpha because you listen to these extreme right-wing bro podcasts and you get your information from Fox News and you live in this bubble where you think you're such a badass because you fly around with 14 flags hanging off the back of your lifted truck, yelling yee yee out the window. No, nobody's coming after these men. Literally nobody. Have a good day.
I am so happy to see that these women are not playing with these men anymore. Now, I'm not going to be man bashing, but hey, it's just going to be my opinion. And, you don't have to agree, is we could agree to disagree, right? Because, there's already huge gender wars happening right now. So this is just my opinion. And no, I am not married and never been married. So take that for what you will. You might think that I don't have the right to comment, which I guess I kind of don't. None of this is my business, but hey, all of these creators put this out there. So, I'm not saying anything offensive, but anyway, just my opinion is that this is why you have to really get to know somebody before you marry them. First and foremost. Now, of course, some people don't think to talk about politics. If you meet at a really young age, you don't really think about politics. What do you think about, this certain topic and that topic? Understandable. But if I was in this situation where the person I was either seeing or married to, and I realized that they're MAGA, it would have to be over. I would just never be able to do it, especially this creator on the screen here. I don't know how she even continued on with it. From what she said, she said that they broke up a month after she made the video that she stitched. But once he would have said that remark about the slavery, I would have ended it on the spot. There's just no way. And I'm all for interracial, marriages, coupling, dating. You can't help who you love and who you're attracted to. I would personally never be able to do it. I just wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't feel safe. Are you going to your family and friends and calling me the slave or the help or my maid, whatever offensive thing you could think of that I don't want to repeat? But it's one thing when you take politics out of it, but if they're MAGA and they said that, girl, how did you continue? How did you let this continue on? I would have done it on the spot. But anyway, I totally get it. Sometimes you're okay, that's a red flag, but you'll want to see what else happens. Totally understandable, but I'm so happy to see that a lot of these ladies are waking up and seeing hey, this isn't good. Especially the ones that's super into it and they get in a really dark place. And I'm not gonna lie, just like the one creator that says she was going down the rabbit hole on Threads. Threads is where the tea is really at. I've seen a couple stories here and there on Reddit and stuff. Reddit has a lot of tea as well, but Threads, just go log into Threads, create you an account right now. You will spend hours and hours on Threads. I guarantee you, it don't even have to be on this topic. It could be about just dating in general. You will scroll and scroll and scroll, and you will just find out what people's experiences are like in situations and what they're having to go through. And I'm sure it's not anything nice if it's getting to the point where they feel they have to divorce. And all I have to say is that, ladies, if you find yourself and taking politics out of it, this is just me on a woman to woman level, just on a human level. just be careful if you feel that your husband, and it doesn't even have to be MAGA husband, it could be regular husband. Just watch out for the signs, the red flags, if they're being aggressive, if they're starting to lay hands on you, you have to get out. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. They're going to try any type of tactic to keep you in there. They are going to try to manipulate you and make it seem like it's all in your head. They're going to try to gaslight you and everything. So first and foremost, please just watch out. And if you have children, make sure to protect them. And if it is an abusive situation, tell people, and they might be able to help you get out. It's super, super serious. We are losing too many ladies to domestic violence, and we have to start speaking out and getting help, because a lot of people feel like they're stuck and they have nowhere to go, or they're afraid to tell their families because they might get the "I told you so," or family might not have the best of reaction or want to support them in trying to get out. Whatever the case may be, just tell somebody, or if you don't have anybody to tell, just make arrangements to get out and get yourself out of that situation. That is first and foremost. And just, I don't really say this enough, but it's not like I'm anti-MAGA for everything. Like I'm 1,000,000% positive I work with people that are Trump supporters every day. It's not going to be like, ew, get away from me. I could definitely be cordial and respectful and talk on a regular level with people. So it's not like I'm saying, oh my God, you're like, I would never, like, ew. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that I feel that if they support this man, then it's going to trickle down into your marriage and into your relationship. Like, look at what our whole president thinks about women and has done to women and children previously. Are you really wanting to be with a man who, like, looks up to this man and pretends like he's a god and he's the best president ever? Now, of course, the women may think that as well. If it's a MAGA marriage, hey, if y'all agree on that, cool. I mean, I can't stop y'all. But if you're starting to see signs like it's kind of going down here, especially, I do remember coming across a story. I don't remember if it was on Reddit or Threads, but I feel like I remember the story was that a woman was married and of course had a husband, obviously, and he signed up to become a part of ICE. Oh, and he completely flipped the switch. Now he's super aggressive, super angry all the time, just wanting to be on a manhunt for immigrants. And yeah, it's really getting real. Like, I could barely speak about it. Like, I can only imagine, like, being in that situation. And then the husband started getting aggressive with her. She had to get out in the middle of the night. Yeah, it's really serious out here. And the thing I've also been hearing about is that a lot of the MAGA men that are single, they're always trying to chase after liberal women for some reason. Something about, oh, the MAGA women are so boring, they just want to cater to the man. But they like the liberal women because they present a quote unquote challenge, and the MAGA men like being challenged. Now, that's their words. I'm not saying that, but you do tend to hear about that, especially if you're like on the dating apps and stuff. That's where I hear about a lot of that, just from people on Threads saying that they don't put that in their profile, but you know, when they start talking, they ask them straight up and they say, yeah, I'm MAGA, I'm a Trump supporter, and they just unmatch with them. So yeah, you really have to ask those questions. If you're a woman dating, it doesn't matter what age you are, ask that question so you know upfront. Of course, unfortunately, they can just lie about it, but I think you would see the signs. I really do. It's just so ironic in the fact that you would think that they would align the best with a woman that supports Trump as well. But for some reason, they want to go against the grain and try to infiltrate us liberal women and disturb our peace. I'm just kidding. But am I really? Not really. But all I have to say is that if there's any woman that's in a marriage, you both support Trump. Of course, I'm just saying this on a human level. I'm taking my disapproval of MAGA out of it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and don't feel like you have to cater to a man and let your marriage be your entire personality. Like, have something outside of your marriage, not an affair. I mean, like, have hobbies, have interests, have things that you like to do. Don't be like, oh, I want to cook and clean and I want to make sure my husband has a warm meal to come eat when he gets home from work, since he supports us, which, that's up for every couple to discuss. But you need to have your own personality and life outside of that. You are not created in here on this earth to just bow down and do as a man says. I'm sorry, but if any men see this, I'm not saying that as an offensive thing. I think any man, respectable, real men, would want their wives to have their own space and have their own peace and do what they want to do and support them in that. And I think a wife would want to do the same. And that, to me, would be a healthy marriage. But of course, what do I know? See how this could devolve into something way off topic. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways you could kind of take this and break it down when you really think about it. But it's really kind of crazy, and you never know if they're cheating on you. You never know what they're doing behind your back. But that's with any relationship. So take some things that you hear on social media kind of with a grain of salt. You never know if things are being exaggerated or parts of the story are being left out. But that's why a lot of women share their experiences, and if you're in it, you could obviously take something from it and apply it to your situation. And let's not forget, maybe there's scenarios out there, I'm sure there has to be, where it's flipped, where it's a liberal man and a MAGA woman. Now, y'all got to watch yourselves too, men, especially if you're in an interracial relationship. You don't know what the girl could be talking about off to the side with her friends or her family members. So you definitely just have to watch your back. And you really have to for any relationship, in my opinion, but especially when you disagree on politics. Move accordingly and watch yourself. Watch how they move, and then you could definitely move accordingly based on what they do. But anyway, you guys, I could talk about this for ages, but I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye. See you later.